from the 903. Luka has to get 100% of the blame since he is 100% of the team. Now, do you know what started to trend on Twitter?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, nobody else. I mean, what do I do? Like, I can't dribble or pass, so they put me out here. Whose fault is that?
You know what started to trend on Twitter yesterday? It was 2 words: Luka needs.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is think about it. That is astonishing. And it wasn't even just because of hashtags.
Yeah.
Because so many people started their sentence with Luka needs, and then Lord knows it could go any number of different ways. And that's one of my concerns. And I know we got tomorrow. We got a long ass time to figure it out. But my concern about the 1987 Jordan comparison, when they get wiped out by the Celtics, well, guess what? The next year, the Bulls win their first playoff series, the 87-88 year. But what happens in that offseason? You're able to draft Scottie Pippen or get Scottie Pippen. Grant. Yeah. You're not going to be able to do that.
Right.
Now, I know the Mavericks can make moves, and maybe you're hoping that the young kids from this year, they make that big step, but you do not have the premium draft capital to just say, we're going to get your buddy and we're going to ride.
You know what else they did? They traded a better player for a worse player that fit better with Michael. They traded Charles Oakley for Bill Cartwright. So when you're like, you can't trade a player and maybe get a worse player, they traded Charles Oakley and got Bill Cartwright, who Charles Oakley was younger. Charles Oakley had better numbers. Charles Oakley was considered by pretty much everybody in the NBA a better player than Bill Cartwright. But they said, I think Bill Cartwright will fit better with our Jordan / we think Pippen can develop into something. I'm sure they didn't think he would develop into how great he was, but a better player. So it's going to be interesting what to do, because right now Luka has to do more than any human has been asked on a basketball court to do. And I'll say, like, yeah, probably LeBron was asked to do that. I still think that LeBron Cavs but I mean, run. I need to go look and see, like, in a series, did LeBron have 3? Like, when he was younger, did he have 3 games in a 7-game series where he scored over 40, while also in 4 out of the 7 games had over 10 assists? Like, what Luka is asked to do is just not humanly possible. And if I would have said, hey, he's going to have before the game 46 and 14 and shoot 56, 57% from the field, you say, I think we have a great chance to win. We had no chance to win because nobody came along.
This might be another conversation for another day. The thought crosses my mind every now and again, and I remember what the rest of the roster looks like. Are you concerned that the one closest thing to a superstar you would consider that Luka's ever got to play with is KP, and KP feels like he's been frozen out of the offense? There are some critiques that Luka does not do a good job of getting other folks involved in the offense at times. I still think that's a product of who he plays with. But
go ask his European players if they felt that way. When he played on the Lakers in Europe at 17, 18 as the best player in the world in that league. He was the best player. He didn't go average 30. He didn't shoot the ball this much because he had the best players in the world around him that weren't in the NBA.
How much do you think the rest of the NBA knows and understands that? Because let's face it, professional athletes can and oftentimes should be selfish. And I sometimes worry about people who are like, well, I'm going to go there to get trucked by Luka, as opposed to Luka's going to make my game better. Because I know Tim Hardaway Jr. will shout out for that.
I think what's tough is, and I think Luka's a good guy, but you had to convince Jordan of this. You know, LeBron wasn't convinced of it, so he just left. And he might have not ever been convinced that, Mo Williams and I can't remember everybody, Varejao, Big Z, whoever it was when he left in 2010. But trust these guys; they're better than you think. So if you're this guy, who do you tell Luka right now is he's going along and he's losing these games and he's making 25 great passes for wide open dunks and looks, and they only make about 10 or 11 of the 25 unbelievable passes? You tell him you need to pass more because why? I've made 25 perfect passes for perfect shots, and I know they can't make 25 of 25, but they're making 11 of 25 on perfect looks. And don't take it from me. Take it from Mark Jackson and Van Gundy, former NBA coach, former, point guard who's a borderline Hall of Famer. And they're like, I can't believe that he gives his guys 20-plus unbelievable looks. He should have 20 assists a game. They see it. The audience, you know what you're watching, you see it. Like, why can't they? Because they're not good enough to make them. So then what's Luka do? They're not good enough to make them. I'll just step back Jack and see if that's good enough.